This long drive swing was hammered, but does not necessarily make sense for golf. These are my 3 key power elements for everybody out there. What we're talking about is athleticism in the golf swing. So does that make a lot of sense with wedges? I don't think so, because hitting these as far as you can is not really the goal, right? You want to stick them close. What you really want to hit far is your driver. And what I teach you now is going to go all the way down to the wedges as well without you actually feeling it. So these are my 3 key elements in the golf swing that are going to make you hit it further. Number 1, we start with a takeaway. I see a lot of golfers being stuck on their lead side before they actually take away the club. So shifting to your trail side is one key element to create momentum and also eventually power in your golf swing. So what we want to do and what we want to see on the Ballon heat map is a shift to the trail side. We want to see a red color in the right foot before we actually take away the club. And from there, we're already going backwards. So the idea is we shift to the right. Before we do that, we have a little bit of tapping motion over here, because to get to your right side, you got to be here. You can't just fall over, right? You want to create some type of energy transfer over here to get to your right. And then on the way up, look what I did. I'm already on my way back. So this little shift that we do to the extreme in long drive absolutely makes sense for golf, but just a little bit less pronounced, if that makes sense, right? You don't want to do the crazy like shift back. You just want to do a little bit of it. We see that on tour everywhere. Jon Rahm does it, Dustin Johnson does it, Henrik Stenson does it. A lot of really good golfers that also have really big drive. And now we can finally make it visible, because on video, it's really tough to see. Sometimes it's just a little motion, but you don't really know what's going on down there, right? So now with the Ballon app, we can actually check it and we can see how the foot interacts with the ground. So that was the first element. We want to go left and right before that club is moving. Crazy power element. From there, we shift back kind of to the center. So we finished our backswing, we're up here. The first thing that I want you to do, we want to slam all that pressure, that center of pressure, as much forward as we can. So that means as we're up here, we're patient at the top, and as we initiate the downswing, we want to slam that pressure forward as much as we can to create a big moment arm. There's something happening biomechanics-wise that creates a long lever in the golf swing, if that makes sense. So that's what we want to do, because what that's creating is effortlessness in the golf swing. That's what we want to create. We want to try to be as effortless as possible and powerful at the same time. So what we want to do early in transition, we want to slam that pressure forward. What that comes with, sometimes on video, is you see this shoulder drop forward in such a motion, like boom, like that way, that way, that way. On the Ballon heat map, what we see is, we see that trace, boom, slam all the way forward, as much forward as we can, because from there, we're preparing a hard push off the ground. So the second power element is creating pressure forward early in the downswing. We do not want to be stuck right to create high angle of attacks. No, we want to boom, slam down. Sometimes what actually helps is when you're lifting a little bit of your left heel off the ground in the backswing, just a little bit. You don't have to go crazy long drive style. Just a little bit, it helps you to really feel that pressure shift, to really feel how you initiate, how you go all the way down. So let's put those two together. Element number 1, we want to shift to the right before we actually take away the club. And now we're at the top of the backswing. From here, we want to slam forward and then hit the golf ball. 2 metrics we see on the Ballon heat map is a shift to the right before we take away the club. And as we're at the top of the backswing, we want to see a crazy slam forward. Let's put the two together. Shift, and now I take away the club. Check it out. And now let's focus on the downward motion. So what we want to focus on now is how I slam down, and especially look at my left foot, what it's doing as I initiate the downswing. Very important and kind of a cheat code to creating a lot of pressure forward. Look at my left foot, what it's doing. What you saw there is basically as I reach my top of the backswing, my foot is already on the way down, ready to initiate that pressure forward and create a big moment arm. Power element number 3 is vertical force. A lot of people have heard about it. A lot of people kind of know what it is, but do you really know how to use it? It's actually pretty simple when you know what to look for. And the cool part is, with the Ballon kit, you do not need force plates because, I mean, force plates are great. You can use them in the lab and play around with like certain things, different forces and all that, but it's not really reflecting reality, and you don't really know what you're doing when you're out here on the range. And I'm not even talking about being in the bunkers. I mean, with my driver, I'm not going in the bunker, but in theory, with a Ballon kit, you could go in the bunker and check all your forces, all your pressure, and everything you do out there as well. So now, what I see with most amateurs is their vertical force, so basically how much force they put in the ground and when, so that is the force responsible for this move, so that's the vertical force. Now with this motion and this motion have more of a lateral force, and with this motion, going that way and this way, we would have the toe to heel force. So now we're talking about the vertical force. So all the pushes into the ground that is eventually erecting the whole body towards hitting the golf ball. Most amateurs that I see peak their force way too late, like down here around the impact zone. And that is way too late because you don't have enough time to get this force back into your system, like from down there, back in your system, and have it translate everything to torque eventually. Because that's what you need. You need to create torque to speed up the golf swing. And well, when you peak all your force super late, you put a lot of force in the system and a lot of energy, but it's eventually wasted. So you want to peak it earlier. And the cool part is, with a Ballon kit, you can test it and you can see a vertical force and what it does. So it's a really neat product to just check all of what I just told you on the fly when you're out at the driving range and you just want to improve the effortlessness of your golf swing. So let's just hit a normal golf shot because that's what it's eventually about, right? You don't want to go like crazy long drive style, but you want to make use of the underlying principles so you can be more effortless and eventually more efficient in your golf swing so you're faster without even feeling it. That's the idea about it. When I started doing long drive like 5 years ago, I wasn't this fast. And also, every single swing felt like I was going the hardest ever. And that's not what it's about. That's what I've learned over the last 5 years. It's really about creating the efficiency and the effortlessness because one, balls go further, you're faster for sure, but also you can hit a lot more balls. In one session, I can easily hit like 200 golf balls and I don't even feel it. I'm not even exhausted when I'm going this speed. So that's one thing. And then also, you can do it for a way longer time. So I hope I can do this a long, long time, up till I'm like 45, 50, 60, you never know. Fast Eddie is still doing it at the age of 52. He's swinging 150 miles an hour. And you out there, you don't have to do that. But you can tap into all of these power sources to some degree, so you are getting faster without even feeling it. Get your Ballon kit today and benefit from all of this.